Hey guys, it's Ethan. This is me building and strategizing a 100 grand per month AI business. And today we're going to be diving deep into my content strategies. I'm going to show you all the different strategies that I've built out to date, all of the back-end systems, and I'm going to show you my exact thought process and framing of how to essentially scale YouTube and socials to as big as they can go, essentially, and basically what I've learned in scaling from 0 to 1,800 on YouTube. And we're getting about, if I go into the YouTube studio, I'll show you right now, we're getting about 60K views per month. We're at 18,000. And essentially, we're getting about 3,400 per day, 74.3K per month. And then the subscriber count is usually based on whether long form or short form are performing better at the time. So I'm focusing most of my efforts on, I guess, pretty equally between long and short form, but I'll show you my exact strategies for each of these. And so basically I have 3 different video strategies that you'll see here. Is essentially I'll be doing like highly outlined scripted long form content where I basically think through exactly what I want the video to be about in depth before I record it, and I record multiple iterations on it. The second one is behind the scenes in strategy videos, and the last is short form. So the one that you're seeing right now is the behind the scene in strategy videos. These are basically where I'm going to show you my thinking and my thought process behind why I'm making the decisions that I'm making in the AI business and how I'm trying to break through my current constraints. The long form is going to be more polished. Like, here's exactly what I've learned. Here's the roadmaps. Here's, me building out systems. Here's the systems you can learn. And then there's also the short form, right? So if we go into this, there's a couple different constraints. One is, how do I actually know what is the bottleneck and what is the system here? Then there's strategic planning and then process automation. So if we go into here, there's different purposes for each of these, and we'll go into each of these different strategies and exactly how I am focused on doing each of these things. But we have long form content, which is primarily focused on brand building. Then I have behind the scenes, which is focused on giving as much transparency as I can, being as authentic as I can. And then the last part is short form, where it's basically reach and engagement and attracting new viewers and top of funnel. So this all leads to either community MRR growth or custom build clients that we're taking on. So as of right now, I think we have 2 custom build clients. We have about 3 cold email clients. And we have about, I think, 4 or 5. We have a few $100 in community MRR, nothing crazy. So let's dive into this, and I'm going to show you exactly like the actual systems. So everything I'm building out is actually in ClickUp. So this is the video I'm recording right now, but I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So I have all of these different, everything I do is pretty much in ClickUp. You'll probably see more of this down the line. All the AI projects that I'm mapping out, but so this is my marketing one. So I basically have short form. Then I have the daily updates, which is what you're seeing right now, and this is a very new system. I'm just getting this off the ground. Then we have the long form videos, which I've been using for a while. Then we have the thumbnails, which I'm adding in my thumbnail designer to basically do them here. And so basically I'm working with a no-code developer right now, contractor, to basically help me think through all of the different automations, webhooks, who needs to get pinged, where are the files. Basically, we're trying to automate as much of this content process as humanly possible. And so that has already happened with the short form. So basically we're scraping all the top performing short form videos. And that's the backlog. Why is that? That shouldn't be. I think I didn't mean to assign this to my editors. And so basically the backlog, every single day it's going and finding top performing videos. I can see how many views, likes, etc. I can see the original video, who it's from. And basically the idea here is that I'm basically just getting inspiration with scripts. And then basically what happens is once we move into this ideas or recording columns, that's when the scripts get generated, but in my own brand voice in how I talk about. And so let's say we look at like this one. You can see like, okay, here's a video that someone else did. My AI system kind of reformatted it. And so basically what I'll go in here, maybe I put this in Claude, maybe I edit this a little bit, and then I just press record, film it, add the end video in here to Tella, and then my editor will get that, and then they will finish the video and they will add it in here. And so you can kind of see one of the videos that's about to get released. They dropped a Google Drive file. It's highly polished, highly edited. This is the Google Drive, the short form video. So you can see, want to build an AI agent that manages your inbox with zero coding experience? Check out N8N. It lets you create an AI. So that's just like an N8N plug. If I go back into here, one of my favorite ones is actually this one. This one I'm really excited to release. But we're testing out different styles. We're testing out different thumbnails. We're basically trying to get the process. Did you know that AI might cure cancer and all diseases in the next decade? When I first heard DeepMind CEO claim this, I thought it sounded impossible. But here's the thing. Biology is basically just code, and AI can read and rewrite that code faster than any human can. Look at AlphaFold. It solved a problem scientists struggled with for 50 years. And you see how it ends disease in a decade. Then at the CTA, more on how it could transform medicine forever. Just comment cure, and I say comment a word, and I'll send you a DM. So basically, that's how that they go into the funnel essentially. And so the funnel is essentially, create as much short form content as possible for the top of funnel. That with this system, we're building out various different automations. Let me actually show you. We're building out various different automations inside of N8N. Here's the script generator. It's basically going, pulling different criteria using Apify to scrape. And then it's using these different systems to update the ClickUp tasks, to write the script, to filter and generate suggestions, transcribe the video. And then essentially once it's completed, we're going over here into not the script generator. We're going over here into the, where is it? Poster, social media poster. And then that will essentially publish these on each of the platforms. And we're actually using something called Banner Bear to create highly similar thumbnails with different text and icons. And so it basically is just like a way to use an API endpoint to create thumbnails. And so for some of these videos, for the long form main videos, I'm having a thumbnail designer just design every single one of them. But for this one, we're just using something like Banner Bear because we want them all to be pretty similar. Once it goes into the publish column, it triggers, it schedules on all the platforms, or just publishes immediately, et cetera, et cetera. And so with that being said, that's how the publishing works. And so as of right now, you can see the bottleneck is actually the publishing. All of these are in the approved column, but I can't, the automations aren't fully working to actually publish them. So I'm working closely to try to get this finished so we can actually go and it'll just publish them with the thumbnail. It will publish them to YouTube, to Instagram, to TikTok, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, whatever, wherever is short form. And then it will, with the thumbnail. So if you take a look at Instagram here, we can actually see, I just did the first couple manually. And so you can see here, this is the first video. Just found an AI tool that makes presentation. And so it's just plugging this, Gamma, which I use a lot. And eventually I like the one about curing cancer, and that's the way that I want to move. So I basically just deleted, I had like 300 posts that I was previously editing using something called Opus Pro. And I was using this to just generate them. The quality of these videos is super shit. And it makes it look all sexy and everything right here, but really the quality of them is not good enough. They get some views, but like no one actually goes into the funnel. So now it's basically this. If you comment, you'll get a DM with more information. And basically how that works is it's a platform called MiniChat. And so I basically just set up MiniChat here. I set up automations. You can see people that go into the funnel. I think I'm going to be the only one, or this person that DM me. But basically what happens is if they if they comment this word, it will send them through to this automation. This is the DM. This is the preview. Comments. If they comment, it will respond to them. They'll get like buttons and links with all these platforms. And basically I'm testing out different aspects of these, but I've seen this funnel work extremely well for other people. And basically what I'm going to do is whenever I get a video, every single day I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add one of these, maybe even 2 to published. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to change the word to make sure it's the right word. And so I'll just go and duplicate this. And so for every single video, there will be a new workflow here. Super simple. switching away from Opus to more. Eventually, maybe I'll do more of these as well. I think this is Banner Bear as well, in terms of it just creates this like kind of real looking thing. But I want the content to be high quality. I don't want it to be just like shitty reels. So like I will always record all these videos and I'll have them edited manually. All the AI tools that do this are just not good enough yet. So that's the current system for short form videos. And then for longer form videos, I'll show you what the system looks like. So let's actually go back to this here. So you'll see for short form, automated scraping, repurpose, script generation. I batch recorded like 20 the other day. The editor edits them and then it automates into Instagram comment automation, and then it publishes them with thumbnails. So that's essentially the Instagram strategy. Now the behind the scenes strategy, kind of what you're watching right now, that's a little bit less structured than the long form. But basically how that's going to work is I'll figure out what ideas do I want to work on. So this is the one I'm working on right now. And what I literally just did is I went into Claude and I basically just did this. I use this app called Aqua Voice, and it basically just lets me press down here and talk. So I basically am talking in here and it's just recording. It's like a speech to text that's really solid. So I'll just go in here and you can see that it's transcribing it here. It'll show up in a second. But then when I hit this FN button, it'll go like boom. And so basically I'll just go in here, I'll speak for like a minute. I'll say, so for this video, I'm going to be talking about content strategies. Here's my content strategy. Here's all the things I'm thinking about. And then I'll say, create me mermaid diagrams. And it will create me, if I show you the code here, it's just like this code. And if you copy this into Excalidraw, it looks like this. Obviously I'm going to be trying to make these Excalidraw strategies a lot better over time, but you can see how I just gave it all of my strategy and it came up with all of these different systems, right? And they look pretty solid. So that I'm not spending, 20 minutes trying to build this out. So there's business strategy analysis. And this is where in these videos, these serve a double purpose, right? So both of these is you seeing behind the scenes and building transparency and trust. But the other purpose is that it's less scripted. It helps me with, learning to speak in a more natural way, because I see this as a skill, right? There's lots of different overlapping skills, but there's like, there's like speaking, there's like the actual content backend systems, and then there's like the sales system, and then there's like selling plus marketing. So there's a lot of overlapping skills here. And my goal is basically to practice these as much as possible. Every single day, I have to sit down for at least 60 minutes and record some sort of videos or move a constraint forward in this regard. But the other part of it is that in doing this, like this itself, is there a triangle tool in here? There's got to be a triangle. Whatever. Upside down triangle. Me recording these videos. So if you just look at this, this is a forcing function. This forces me to get better at understanding what the constraint is in my business. So if you've ever seen Theory of Constraints or Bottleneck Theory by Eli Goldratt, so it's going to look something like this. Let me see like a graph. Actually, let me go back. I think I just saw one here. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is Theory of Constraints. So basically what this looks like is, in this content system that I have, in the sales system, in my business in particular, there's always one thing that is stopping revenue from flowing into the system. There's all of these things. There's leads. There's mostly leads. And there's different aspects of this. And there's always one bottleneck that is stopping. Like, the essence of the theory of constraints is that the business can only attain as much revenue as the bottleneck. So if there's like 100,000 prospects in here, but I can only deliver for 10 at a time, then I can only make money for 10 at a time. So the constraint is the amount of work that I can deliver. As of right now, for me, the constraint is the lead generation and content systems and their ability to generate demand. So those are the primary things that I'm focusing on. I'm also working on with my team to develop the ability to scale in the back end, but as of right now, it's the ability to scale cold email and content, which is why that's what I'm talking about here. So in recording these videos, it's actually forcing me to identify the constraints in real time. So a lot of times I kind of have a gut sense of what the constraint is going to be, but it's not until I actually record these videos and create a couple diagrams and talk through this with you on camera that I actually figure out what the exact constraint is. I'm like, oh, it's actually like this very specific thing down here. Like this is the constraint, not all these other things. And so that is why I record these videos. Now, if I go to the long form, that's actually some of the most fun. If I could just record long form all day, I probably would. And so the long form is basically where I script out a little bit more. So if you want to see the latest video, I'm working with a social media content consultant, basically just a friend that is like really just likes to study YouTube videos and content. And so I'm basically saying like, oh, what just happened? Not sure what I just hit there. Basically, there's like, here's the outline for the video, here's the script. I'm working with them to figure out what is the best hook for this video. How should we do this? And I'm actively thinking through how do I, work through this. And I'm having editors in here as well. And so there's editors in here that are helping me out. And then there's, highly published videos. I just paid an editor a couple $100 to film this, edit this really like documentary style video. So I'm really excited for this because I just got it back today. And so there's a lot of potential here. And so on the other side of things, so there's like really high quality edited videos, but what I'm basically working through is, again, how do I connect the thumbnail system with this system to being published on YouTube? That's what I'm working with my no-code developer on. And as of before, it was all structured out, but now because I'm having a video editor in there, it adds another wrench in the system. Because before I would just record it on a platform called Tela. I would just record it on Tela, and then I would download the link, put it in a Google Drive folder, download the video file, put it in Google Drive, and then it would run the system. I think I've showed the system in past videos. I'll show it again. So the system essentially looks like this. So let's say I go in here. I have the scenarios, SSAI marketing. So this is the system that I've been running for months, but now that I'm trying to level up the system, have higher quality videos, it's different. But before, we're going to run something like this. We might run it in N8N. But before I would add it in Google Drive, it would pull the transcript, it would create a summary, it would create a task for the thumbnail designer, it would upload the video to YouTube as unlisted, it would associate the video with an ID in ClickUp, and then whenever the thumbnail designer set it to published, it would go and it would, finalize the video, and basically nothing on my end. But now that there's a video editor, there's more people, so potentially I want to be able to have the thumbnail designer have the video information to edit while the editor is also editing it, so that I can, the time from recording to actually publishing is shorter. So that's essentially the system in that regard. So you could think of the system as something like this. So we have like I record, and then the next thing in the system is, the next aspect of the system is thumbnail / video edit. And then whenever both of those things are done, it's publish on YouTube. So in order for this to be as short of a time horizon as possible, what needs to happen is that this process, these need to be happening synchronously. They need to be happening at the same time. And then once they're happening at the same time, ideally this will be maybe, I record, that's going to take me maybe 60 minutes. And then this will maybe take 3 days for both of them. And so we could see that I could record a video and 3 days later it could be published on YouTube with a high quality thumbnail, with a high quality video edit. So this is really the goal for the long form videos. Again, for the business strategy, what I'm planning on doing is using Bannerbear to basically have the thumbnail designer give me a really high quality edit, and then I add that to Bannerbear, and I work with my developer to basically say, hey, for all these videos, because they're not as high of quality, I still want a certain amount of production quality for them, but because the production quality is not crazy large, let's just use this high quality templated thumbnail and let's just change the text on it for every single video, so that I can basically record this and get it up same day. Now you can kind of understand what I'm thinking about in terms of content strategy. There's going to be a lot more on content strategy in the near future, because this is something I'm actively thinking about all day, every day. I guess one last thing that I'll leave you with is this platform. This platform is crazy for getting YouTube video ideas, in terms of it finds you all of the highest performing videos in your niche, all of the outliers, how much they're an outlier by. You can go and you can basically ideate what is the video topic, what is the video title, what is the video outline, and we're basically, title generator. What? I thought I was paying for this. They want me to upgrade again. But anyway, I'm saving a bunch of videos in here. I'm tracking them. I think this was from a while back that I was saving these types of videos. But what I can go in here is I can go into trackers. This is what I use most. I can see all of the top videos. Why does it say $20 videos? Huh. Anyway, I can see all of the people in the space that I'm in and what videos have been performing best for them and why, and I can study them. And then this is how I essentially improve the content over time, because I study what are they doing in these videos, why do these videos work, what are they, and then I can basically just build these out, directly in here. So I can be like, okay, this MCP thing is not doing super well. This new AI GPT 4.1, I don't know if I want to do that. But what I can do is I can go in here, I can filter by, say, 4.4x. Now I'm only getting videos with 4.4x, which means that it's performing on average at least 4.5 times better than their average videos. So I can see like N8N full tutorial, 31 minutes is crushing. Full AI automation course is crushing. Watch me start and sell an AI service in 10 hours. Is also doing pretty well. Start an AI business full guide. So I can start to see what's working and start to figure out, why is it working? Can I take something similar from that, and use it? And so that's essentially the content strategy right now. Obviously, you'll see more down the line. This is still a work in progress. And I guess the last thing is that I'll share is that we do retrospectives. So anytime, like, I'll go and I'll analyze a bunch of hooks of top creators. I'll figure out what is another hook strategy. So every couple of months we're redoing our hook strategy and figuring out what hooks are working, what is inspiration of videos that I really enjoyed watching, so I can try to create ones more similar to that. And then I can say, basically I'm just studying both the things that are doing best on my channel and the things that are doing best on other people's channel. But the biggest thing is watching the analytics and being able to say, okay, this video is doing okay, it's getting more than average, so we'll see how it does. But I'll go into, say, this last video that I published that did pretty well, MCP, and I'll be able to say, okay, it got 1.5K more than usual, it got a lot more subscribers than usual. What was different about it? Average view duration, what was the reach on it, what was the click-through rate, why, when did users fall off? It seems like, did they like the beginning of the video, did they like the demos, did they like the diagrams, so on and so forth. So that's essentially the ultimate content strategy that I'm working on. I will create more videos over time to show you as I refine this and make it better and better. I will be putting the templates to all these systems inside my community, AI Agents University. So if you go over here to Classroom, and then you go over here to AI Agent Templates, basically what I'm about to be doing is taking all these templates from N8N, Make.com, etc., and I'm gonna add them in here. I think I already added some of the marketing system. Yeah, this was like the initial marketing system, similar to the one that you just saw. But basically, you can go in here, you can download any of these JSON files. You can use them in your business. You can start using the same systems that I'm using tomorrow if you wanted. And so if that's helpful, come join. We're doing calls every single week where we will do, I'll talk about business strategy live. You can ask me questions. We talk about sales strategy. We talk about all the things that I'm focusing on to scale this to 100 grand per month. And so let me know if that's helpful. You can see Jonathan here went from 1K to 13K. So absolutely crushing it. So thanks so much for watching this video. My sole goal here is to help you understand both the process that it takes of what it actually requires to do the mental work of understanding what is the constraint, why is it the constraint, who should I talk to, how should I delegate. There's a lot of different questions here, but ultimately it's how do we let as much revenue pass through the system as possible. How do we remove all the constraints so that as much revenue as possible can pass through the system? And in doing so, it requires a lot of strategy. And that is the purpose of these videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.